Let's move over to the hate list for running backs. Jay, we start with Ezekiel Elliott. He only played 3 more snaps than Rico Dowdle in week 1.
Yeah, not ideal because Zeke is a guy who's going to need to rely on either volume or red zone touches. That's how he's going to provide his value. He's never going to be a 5 yards per carry guy again. Now he goes up against the Saints defense that was very solid last year. So certainly some concerns about Zeke. Snap share was pretty much equal with Rico Dowdle. Zeke does get a couple of receptions, but ultimately, I think week to week, neither of these guys are going to be super appetizing.
He got 12. I just put him on here because you think, he got 12 touches, he fell in the end zone. Maybe he could do that again. And there's always the chance that he could fall in the end zone. But to your point about New Orleans, Carolina running backs, and Chuba Hubbard's not terrible. You know what I mean? He's certainly not worse than Ezekiel Elliott at this stage of Zeke's career. And Carolina was averaging 2.9 yards per carry. They could get nothing done against that Saints front seven. And so, when Zeke has had fewer than 15 touches since the start of 2022, he has only 2 games where he scored more than 15 fantasy points. More than 12 fantasy points. Since 2022, in games in which he's gotten at least 15 touches, if he gets less than 15 touches, he rarely scores more than 12 points. Which goes to what you're saying. He needs volume or he needs to fall into the end zone. So we don't think he's going to get the volume against the Saints. So the question is, how lucky do you feel? Do you think he falls in the end zone? I don't think he does. I'm outside my top 30 for the week.
Javonte Williams also on the hate list here, Matthew. Just not a lot of work for him in week 1, in a week where Bo Nix had 51 dropbacks.
The Crazy, Broncos' offense is just out of sync here, but this is one of the reasons why we talked about Jaleel McLaughlin and, for deeper leagues, Audric Estime on the Waiver Wire show, because Javonte Williams, you thought, should have at least first and second down to himself, and he didn't even have that. He had only 32% of the team rushing attempts in week 1. It was kind of an even split between him and McLaughlin for first and second down work, and then the passing work is almost all going to McLaughlin as well. Only one team has a lower implied team total in week 2 than the Denver Broncos. People are not expecting a lot of success for this Broncos offense against TJ Watt and company, and I think Vegas is right. I mean, that defense, look, for all the jokes about Arthur Smith offense and the struggles that the Steelers have had since Ben Roethlisberger has retired, they've always had a good defense under Mike Tomlin. Always, and this year's no exception.
Yep, and in week 1, they were the 4th most efficient rushing defense in the league by EPA. That's going up against Bijan Robinson on the road. So I think that there are big concerns about Bo Nix and that offense in general. TJ Watt looked like the best player in football last weekend. He was absolutely incredible, which hurts me as I don't have any wages on him for Defensive Player of the Year. But I think that there's a chance the Steelers just have the best defense in football. That's in play. That's how good they looked against the Falcons, and Bo Nix is not ready for TJ Watt.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that.
Watt's price might be unusable after this week. If you watch the Denver offensive line, they didn't have any answers for Seattle, and it's not going to get any easier.
That's the thing about Bo Nix and that whole offense. Nix's stat line was bad. I thought he looked worse than his stat line. There was just nothing to hold on to.
There were at least 2 passes that weren't picked off that should have been.
Yep. And it just didn't look good all
He didn't look ready for primetime.
No, not at all.
Audric Estime, by the way, on IR, so that helps Jaleel McLaughlin.
Yes, that news came in, I believe, late last night.
Yep.
So, McLaughlin, I mean, he's just going to eat into more Javonte
I missed
Williams.
that. Okay, I missed that.
Yep. Zamir White.
I went to bed. I was getting my beauty sleep, as you can tell.
Paid off.
It didn't.
Let's not probe on that.
Huge returns.
For a month. I needed to sleep for a month.
That's called hibernation.
I was also, by the way, honestly, in all seriousness, Wednesday nights, I turn off everything and I'm just writing love hate. It's 5,000 words. It's a disaster. So, I missed that news, actually. That's good to know.
Alexander Madison made the love list. His teammate Zamir White makes the hate list here, Matthew. The Raiders have you talked about the Broncos. The Raiders have the lowest implied team total in week 2.
And again, just the same reason why I think Alexander Madison is in play is one of the reasons why I don't think Zamir White is and why I'm outside my top 30 this week. They're going to be down in this game, and he's not a part of the passing offense for the Raiders. He played at only 24% of pass plays in week 1. Madison played 73%. Again, the Raiders are actually 9.5-point underdogs. So just, I don't know. And I don't think Zamir White's all that great. So just in general. So again, outside my top 30. He's similar to Zeke in that he needs volume and he needs to fall into the end zone.
Yep.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully, respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.